Good day, everyone. My name is Ali, and welcome to How the Body Works. Have you ever wondered what happens to the food we eat? Well, today we are going to take a journey through our digestive system. Before we begin, I have included a YouTube link to a short video which explains how the digestive system works. Now, let us begin. What is the digestive system? The digestive system is made up of many parts. But the main function of the digestive system is to turn the food we eat into energy we need to survive and to dispose of the waste material. On my right, I have a labeled diagram of what our digestive system looks like. Now that you know what our digestive system does, what gets our digestive system started? Imagine a freshly baked apple pie has just come out of the oven. The sight and smell of it is enough to make you start salivating. Salivating means that your mouth starts producing saliva. So even before you take a bite, your digestive system swings into action. What happens in the mouth? When you take a bite of this delicious apple pie, you begin to chew. Chewing breaks down the food into smaller pieces. Chewing also mixes the food with saliva. Saliva contains a chemical which starts breaking the food down. So chewing mixes the food. Saliva also makes the food moist, which makes it easier to swallow. From the mouth, the food goes down to your esophagus. This is your esophagus. It is a hollow tube and it squeezes the food down until it reaches the stomach. So from the mouth, the food enters the esophagus, and the esophagus takes it into the stomach. Now that the food is in your stomach, what happens in your stomach? Consider the stomach. This is the stomach, what your stomach looks like. Consider your stomach as a muscular mixing bag. The stomach also produces acid and digestive juices, which further breaks down the food in a form your body can absorb. So the stomach not only holds the food, it mixes the food. When the contents of the stomach are sufficiently mixed, it is released into the small intestine. As soon as the food enters the small intestine, there are three organs which produces more chemicals which aids in the digestion and breaking down of your food. These organs are the pancreas, liver, and the gallbladder. The pancreas, which is this funny shaped organ, produces a chemical which breaks down protein, carbohydrates, and fats. The pancreas also has special cells which produces insulin. Insulin is used to break down sugar in our bodies. The liver, which is this pink colored organ, it produces a chemical called bile. Bile is used to digest fat. When the liver produces bile, it is stored in this small sac called the gallbladder. The liver is a very important organ. It not only produces bile, it also gets rid of harmful chemicals in the body. As the food moves along the small intestines, this area here is the small intestine, two things happen. One, the food continues to be mixed with all the chemicals, the digestive juices from the pancreas and the liver. And two, which is the main function of the small intestine, it absorbs the nutrients that the body needs. So the food moves along the small intestine and nutrients are absorbed. From the small intestine, the food moves into the large intestine. Now the large intestine, also called the colon, is the last part of the digestion process. Now the waste product from the small intestine, when it enters the large intestines, it is called stool. So stool moves along the large intestines. As it moves along, water is absorbed, so the stool becomes more solid. The large intestine also stores the stool until it is ready to be eliminated through the anus. Once the food has reached the anus, the digestion process is completed. In my next slide, I have a diagram of the digestive system. So in summary, food digestion begins in the mouth. We chew our food, makes it smaller, mix it with saliva. Saliva makes the food moist, so it becomes easy to swallow. Also, saliva helps in breaking down the food into a form the body can absorb. From the mouth, the food goes down the esophagus, which is a hollow tube. The esophagus takes the food into the stomach. In the stomach, the food is mixed with acid and other chemicals which aids in breaking the food down. From the stomach, after the food has been mixed sufficiently, it goes into the small intestine. As soon as the food enters the small intestine, the liver and the pancreas also produces more chemicals which helps break the food down further. As the food moves along the small intestine, two things happen. The food continues to be mixed with this digestive secretion and nutrients from the food is absorbed. The waste material from the small intestine then enters into the large intestine or the colon. The waste food is now called stool. The stool moves along the large intestine. While it moves along, the water is absorbed. The large intestine also stores the stool until it is ready to be eliminated. Here we have our journey through our digestive system. On my next slide, I have the parts of the digestive system and their functions. For a quick review, the mouth, it breaks up the food and also mixes it with saliva. From the mouth, the food goes to the esophagus. The esophagus takes the food into the stomach. The stomach mixes the food with digestive juices. When the food is sufficiently mixed, it goes into the small intestine. From the small intestine, there are three other organs which produces chemicals which aids in digestion. It is the pancreas, the liver, and the gallbladder. From the small intestine, as the food moves along the small intestine, nutrients is absorbed. From the small intestine, the food moves into the large intestine, which stores the waste product until it is ready to be eliminated. So this brings us to the end of our journey through our digestive system. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation and that you have learned something new about our digestive system. And I would like to thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.